Hi everyone, thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm so excited today to interview the lovely um, Karma. So some a little bit about herself. So this is themselves. I'm sorry. A little bit about themselves. So Karma, they use they them pronouns, and they're a disabled individual artist, a culture bearer of American Sign Language. She's an arts disability, culture, and communication advocate. She's also a streamer. She does co-working space on Twitch sometimes on Mondays and Sundays. So I had the uh, sorry, I'm so excited. I apparently can't talk.
It
Um,
happens to me all the time too. No
thank you.
worries.
Yeah,
Hakuna
but
Matata.
uh, I love that. But yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting Karma through our Arts and Discord. And I'm excited to learn more about them and just see what they're about. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself today?
So, hello, my name is Karma and I use they, them pronouns. Thank you for having me here. I'm very excited to share out some artist resources with the virtual community. The virtual community is it makes things a lot more accessible, but accessibility is still difficult. And that's what I'm primarily trying to change for the artist community. So I am a dual languaged and neurodivergent individual and disabled artist. I love texture. Textures bring me lots of joy.
That's
I'm
awesome.
yeah. Texture is it's just with like mixed media because mixed
Yeah,
media is my favorite. So I'm a multidiscipline creative that is passionate about upcycling, sustainability, macrame. However, I'm primarily a mixed media artist because I believe you can turn anything into art. Even if it's a piece of garbage, it can be turned into art.
that's awesome. That's so beautiful. Which kind of also leads me, as I was mentioning earlier, that I love your background. Like, is your what the stuff you have in your background, like your artwork that you've made before?
Yeah, some of the artwork over here, the mushroom one right over here is a collaboration with my partner and caregiver. And there's
Awesome.
a big eyeball right here. That one is
Yeah.
another collaboration with my partner. And then I
Whoa.
have a couple of dream catchers over here. I love making dream catchers because you can use so many different mediums.
Yeah. Yeah. How did you get into that? Like, how did you find art for your benefit? And like I know that you've said this many times before, that you kind of live through art. Like art is like almost like makes you uh helps you survive, right? So and I feel the same way.
Definitely.
I think I have some pretty darn crazy ADHD sometimes,
Me
and
too.
I find doodling very kind of like it eases my mind a little bit, and then it
Like
helps me like really,
grounding
yeah,
and
and it helps me
meditative.
focus. And like I feel like if anybody knows about ADHD, your brain kind of has like multiple switches. So we should be thinking about one thing, we're maybe thinking like three things at once. So it's nice to
I
kind of just
definitely
like,
agree with that.
yeah. So it kind of
I
helps me focus a lot. So how did you get into the dream catching and then finding textures and just art in general?
so finding art in general, it honestly started like when I feel like not literally from the moment I was born, but here's a little bit more like insight and background. So my primary language is American Sign Language. I can hear, however, I was raised by two deaf parents.
Oh wow.
So I am a CODA, and that CODA means child of deaf adults. And I'm no longer a minor. However, it doesn't change that my parents are deaf. So I still identify as a CODA. And due to my environment that I grew up in when I was still developing cognitively, I was nonverbal until age 8, and I have three aunts who are also deaf. So I was immersed into the deaf community and culture from the moment I was born. And
Whoa.
the communication around me, it, there's no like documentation, but I believe in my heart that really molded and shaped me to become nonverbal. And I was nonverbal and mute until age 8, and it was very isolating and lonely. And
Mhm.
art, that's how I got into art. I didn't know how to communicate or express myself, and art helped me communicate. I believe art is a form of communication.
Yeah, yeah, truly. That's so beautiful. And then how did they receive that? Like when you showed your family your artwork and it has so many textures, because of course they're missing one of the main sensory. Funny. English is my second language. Spanish is my first language, so I apologize
Oh,
if I
I
sound crazy
understand
sometimes.
completely. No worries.
But
Peace and
so
love.
yeah, when you have you're missing like the auditory moment of like, which for me is crazy important, right? Like I love music, and but when you don't have that sense, and basically you're experiencing the world through every other sense, right? But like your vision is like, I hear deaf people a lot of times have like their vision is amazing, and they feel more than a normal person would. I don't want to say normal, but just like a person that has hearing. And how did they enjoy the textures?
I definitely want to say I can't speak for deaf individuals, but I can speak from a coda perspective. So child,
Yeah,
deaf adult. So going
yeah.
forward, I'll say as a coda. So as a coda with having deaf parents, I have seen firsthand that my parents have like supersonic sensitive sense for
Smell.
smelling.
Yes,
Like
that's awesome.
sometimes they will get headaches very, very easily.
Yeah,
Some deaf individuals will, if like you light a candle without telling them, like sometimes some sense can be a lot stronger to them. And
yeah.
it's true though, it is very true. They have some supersonic noses.
Yeah. Whoa, that's so interesting. It's really cool to hear from someone that experienced it firsthand. Like this, like you, if you grew up with so many deaf people, and you in general, even though you can hear, like your world is different than like what most people would say normal. So it's so exciting to see how
No,
your love for textures kind of relates to the way that your point
yes,
of view in life, right, growing up
it's
and stuff.
very hands-on.
Yeah.
It might be ADHD. I am a self-diagnosed ADHD, autistic and ADHD individual, and I find that like I can't crochet. This is the sign for crochet, by the way.
Oh, cool. I like
Um,
that. Good to
and
learn. I like
with
that.
crochet, I get bored very easily because you're just
It's the same movement over and over.
and
Yeah.
that's part of why I love textures, and
Yeah.
it's very I think the word is kinesthetic,
Hmm.
very hands-on. And I believe due to my background and being a neurodivergent individual, I love texture and playing with texture. It's such a beautiful and freeing way to experiment with art.
Yeah, yeah. Truly, it's nice. It's also satisfying. Like I'm one that loves soft stuff, so I'm always like, oh, furry things like are so satisfying to the touch, and just feels good. And it kind of goes back to that whole like, but so if you, I don't, you've been following Artzen, and for anyone watching this video for the first time, Artzen's goal is basically proving that art is good for you. It's good for your mental health. It's science proven. There's so many studies about it, and it really shows. So I'm basically trying to promote joy through art. I'm not a therapist, but I like to be a promoter of things. Like I like to share things that are good or that I think are good, and wholesome. So this is how I ended up here, and how do you find that art benefits your mental health?
Thank you for holding space and sharing
Thank you.
joy about art.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I do want to circle back to
Yeah.
like how my family and parents felt about my texturized art. Um, it having deaf parents is definitely a part of why I'm a mixed media artist, because I also feel like regardless of if you are disabled or if you are not disabled, a texturized experience is inclusive. Like if you are blind, you can feel the art. If you
Yeah.
cannot hear, you can still see and feel the art in your heart, through your eyes, through
Yeah.
frequency and connection. And that texturized art, it helped me connect with my parents even before I knew how to sign. I learned
Oh,
how
that's
to make
beautiful.
art first, and I learned how to write, then type, then I learned how to sign, then I learned English. So there's definitely a connection
Whoa.
that art brought us together, because
Oh,
there
that's
was
so sweet.
one point in my life where I could not sign to my parents. So I would create art and like express myself through color, and we would make art with each other back and forth.
That's awesome. That's so cute. Oh my gosh.
So
I
it
love
brought
that.
so much joy.
Yeah, that's awesome. I that makes me so happy. That's so cute. Oh my gosh. How big, so art is a big part of your life, I know, and can you just like tell me a little bit about yourself? I've been following you for some time now, and I know you're quite immersed in it. So how just tell me about that, like your experience with art. And I know that we've been kind of hammering this a little bit for some time now, but
I'm
just
happy to
because,
share.
yeah, thank you. I just know that you're such a special individual, you know, and the reason why I was reading about like why you started Beyond Good Karma, and how you want to share the ability of making art and to anyone, right? Like anybody could do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be thought through. Like simply like me, like doodling just helps me focus, and music helps me calm down, or like go through like emotions that like I myself sometimes wouldn't be like, oh man, like I didn't go to a therapist for the longest time because I was just terrified of saying how I feel. Like I was just like a crazy fear I had
It's
of,
vulnerable.
yeah,
It's
it's
vulnerable
so
and scary.
yeah, truly. And then that's how I found music for myself, because I was like, oh my God, this artist song just describes exactly what I'm feeling. I feel so seen. um so for me that's a big part of like why I love art, and why I believe in it, and how beneficial it is, how good it is for you, and then also how important it is. Like it doesn't have to always be about joy. It can be about grief. It can be about pain. It has so many levels, because obviously we all have many levels. Like we have so many emotions that we go through. So I just want to know about how your experience with that.
There's so many layers of art. That's what also makes it so magical and fascinating. So
Yeah,
I'm going to go
please.
back to how art has always been a huge part of my life. It is quite literally my survival mechanism. As a neurodivergent individual that also had a speech delay until age 8, it art has always helped me through the most challenging parts of my life. I believe that art helps break down communication barriers, and it helps us communicate those vulnerable parts of us that maybe we don't want to say out loud, because it can be scary and uncomfortable. And art still up until this day, throughout my childhood, teens, adolescence, adulthood, it still continues to save my life. It is wonderful for mental health. And one of the things that I try to focus on is trying to access artist resources. Like that's one of my personal goals, is to make artist resources more accessible, because as a disabled individual and being ESL, English as a second language, accessing artist resources is extremely difficult unless you've been through the grueling process of going through the art journeys, putting yourself out there in public, and not everyone is ready to do that. And sometimes, like myself, folks with limited mobility, sometimes we can't access artist resources.
Yeah,
And
truly.
it's
That's good to know.
unfortunate.
Yeah, that's it really does suck. And unfortunately, like a lot of times our society is as helpful as it could be in some regard, the art is not really valued that much. Like creativity, I think humanity has forgotten a little bit about like how important creativity is, and creating, and uh making that stuff easily found, accessible, like you say. Just like there's so many folks that can't leave their house, like they can't, and it's so important to finding ways that they can also have accessibility to being creative, or if they need something to have fun themselves. If you can
Yeah,
leave your house, you need to have
like
fun. You
like virtual interviews, like you are being inclusive.
thank you, yeah, yeah,
Later on, I plan to talk about some virtual workshops and how that helps to make artist resources accessible. Because going back to how I use art to benefit mental health,
hmm
I do struggle with nonverbal shutdowns and being mute through my disabilities.
yeah,
And with art, it helps me feel less lonely. It helps me feel less isolated because there are art communities online, there are art communities in person, and I feel like art, it really it really it's a very special connection. It speaks what is not spoken. It
yeah,
expresses things that can be felt and seen but not heard. And to me, it goes back to having deaf parents, and it makes my sensory experience more intense.
yeah,
Um, Sometimes it's very difficult being a coda that is an artist because I experience things very intensely, um,
yeah.
with like pattern recognition and interpreting and art. It saves lives. It is wonderful for your mental health, and it helps you find like-minded creative individuals that might be your best friend one day.
Yeah, truly, truly. And that's what's beautiful about it. And I'll piggyback off of this. So because I know you, because of your program for finding resources and helping people find resources, what are some of the types of events that you host, and what are some of the resources that people can find?
So some of the events that I host are ASL, that's an acronym for American Sign Language Workshops, and I will also be hosting an art supply swap this Saturday on March 14th in Sacramento, California, and it's free to attend and participate. It will be at a art shop called Flower Fest. And wherever I host my swaps, I host it at art shops, art studios, or third spaces that I believe are disability friendly and treat everyone like an equal. Because to me, it's important to pick out the artist resources and show, hey, I trust this place, I trust this organization, and they treat me like an equal, regardless of my disabilities, and they value me.
That's beautiful. I love that. Yeah, and I feel like everybody should do that. Come on, man. Yeah, that should be
Absolutely.
the general rule for everyone.
Yes.
Please, everybody, learn from karma.
There is
That's beautiful.
also one more event this month, and it will be on March 23rd. And we'll share all the links later on. Keep an eye out. So on March 23rd, I'm collaborating with a Twitch and Discord community called New Save. They're primarily a gaming community, but they're growing their art community as well. I'm supporting them with that.
Mhm.
And New Save, they primarily fundraise for nonprofits, 501(c)s. And on
Oh, cool.
March 23rd, I will be hosting an art and chill event via New Save's Discord server. So it's virtual and accessible that way. You could bring your work in progress piece of art, hang out, meet creative individuals. New Save, they will be fundraising for National Society of Multiple Sclerosis. And during the Art and Chill event, I will be sharing educational facts about why and how art benefits folks with MS, multiple
Whoa.
sclerosis.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yes, I love that. I'm probably gonna join that. That sounds awesome.
I'd love to see you there. There
Yes,
will be
yes.
more events later as well. If
Thank
you can't
you.
make it, it's totally okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, I'll have all these links as well shared for anyone watching, so that anyone can find us easily. And then I just have a few more questions for you because I know it's a Sunday that is beautiful out there, here in California, great weather. Um, what is your favorite thing about hosting art events?
My favorite thing about hosting art events is it's a huge networking tool for artists. When you
Yeah.
are an artist resource event host, I'm sure
Mhm.
there's a better word out there, but that's all I can think of right now.
That's
But when
perfect.
when you host art events or workshops, you're putting yourself out there as you're networking, you're building community, and
Yeah.
building community is something I love. I'm very passionate about community building. I worked at a community center for 10 years before.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, that's beautiful. I love that. I also love that too. I hosted some arts and events myself, and it's so funny because the feeling getting towards the event, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Why am I doing this? You know, like this self-inflicted, like, why?
It always
And
circles
then
back to like, okay, I'm
exactly,
excited. Okay,
so
I'm exhausted.
excited.
I'm not
Yes,
sure if I can do this, but I love doing this. I gotta keep going.
exactly.
Okay, we did it. This
Yeah,
is so
exactly.
fun.
And then you get to the event and you see how everyone is so connected and everyone is so uh I I don't want to say like-minded because I'd like to say everybody's got their own universe in their head. So like everyone shouldn't be like-minded. We all should be different actually. But I love how everyone being so different but so connected just makes it so fun and so joyful. Like I feel like every time I have an event afterwards, I'm just like, oh my god, my cheeks hurt. I've smiled so hard this whole time. Like my
It's
cheeks
kind of
hurt
like
already, and I've
a
talked to you for like
reset.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Cause yeah,
Like
yeah.
when I go to events or when I host them, like it can be overwhelming, but when you finally get to the end and the event is happening, it's so magical. It's a reset that brings you back to the present,
Yeah,
even
truly.
if it can be time consuming. Like it's not for everyone to host art events. You got to be really, really passionate about it. Some
Yeah.
of the other services that I currently offer are I offer American Sign Language alphabet lessons via Discord calls, and I am doing that to help break down language barriers in the art community.
Oh, that's sad. That's
There
awesome.
are deaf and hearing artists, and one day I want
Yeah.
to host a market where there's deaf and hearing artists together all at the market.
Yeah.
There are other workshops that I plan to host later this year. No set date yet, we're working on it, but one of the other workshops I host are for vendors and artists, and the workshop is reviewing the alphabet in American Sign Language. And then I also go over general communication that you would have with your customers at markets. Like, how much is this? How much does that cost? What is your business email? That way you can make your communication experience with your deaf customers more inclusive. So it goes back to making it more accessible in the art community and being inclusive of deaf artists, hearing artists, hard
Yeah.
of hearing artists. It's a big dream of mine to host a market and just have so many deaf community members with hearing community members, and it will be tough, but it would be awesome to provide interpreters there as well to be
Yeah.
professional and accessible. It'll be a fundraiser goal one day.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm excited for you. I'm so excited about the future of Beyond Good Karma, and I know it will go beyond. I'm excited to see what's next.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited. I know it'll work. I think you're onto something.
I'm on a mission. Usually you
Yes,
have
I
to
love
have
it.
internal connections or you have to do lots of digging to access those artist resources. And it's
Yeah.
part of the journey, but it's not accessible and that needs to be changed.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's wonderful. And how can people find you? I know myself because I've been following you, but for others out there, how can people find your services, your websites, or your Instagram and stuff?
I will be sharing that information. Thank you for asking me. So I will be opening a Discord server to the public, hopefully the end of this month or mid-April. In the Discord server, it will be focused on artist resources from all over the world, and we will have categories of different regions for where artist resources are located. So once that is open, you can find me there and I'll announce with you when it's open so we can share it out. And you can primarily find me on Instagram at Beyond Good Karma. There's a silent E at the word after the word good. Good is my last name and it has an E at the end. So that's how I got Beyond Good Karma is my Instagram, and I'm most active there. I also stream on Twitch on Sundays and Mondays. My schedule is winging it at PST due to my health and disabilities, and I stream when my body permits.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing and thank you so much for talking to me. I this was amazing and I'm so happy to have finally met you after chatting with you for so long.
I enjoyed
Um
my time here. Thank
yeah,
you.
thank you. Thank you.
Is
This
it
is
okay if
lovely.
I share about one quick resource as well?
Yes, please go for it.
So I do have a newsletter that is sent out bi-monthly via Patreon subscription. And my newsletter is called the Good Times Newsletter. The volume 2 will be released at the end of April. And the purpose of the newsletter is to help community members learn how to host art swaps and what's the process of it and how to prep for it. So if you'd
Oh my
like to
gosh.
learn about that, it is available via Patreon.
Awesome. That's so cool. Thank you.
You're
That's also great
welcome.
information. I love that. I'm good. I might be looking into that myself. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. And again, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you for your time as well.
Thank you.
Wonderful to be here.